Ethereum appears to be mounting a recovery, but is it going to be able to break back towards all-time highs? That's one thing that Ethereum needs to do, and we're going to cover that in today's episode, and it could happen very soon, so make sure you stick around to see that. Hello guys, and welcome to the House of Crypto. I make videos on Ethereum as well as tech stocks and other cryptocurrencies. So if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button to be kept up to date with all things Ethereum and to be kept up to date with all the latest happening in the cryptocurrency markets. Without further ado then, let's jump into the Ethereum charts for today. As you can see, looking at the 4-hour chart over on tradingview.com, we came down to the $1,714 level before seeing a strong recovery. But is this just a dead cat bounce, or are we going to see something further happening? Now obviously we tracked this channel down, and as we can see we had this breakout which we saw come back down and sort of retest, but it didn't come all the way down to retest, but instead retested much higher up and has then moved up to around the level, putting in a high today of around $2,900 and sort of breaking down recently to around the 2,774 before appearing to be moving back to the upside. Now there's one key pattern which I think we should be paying attention to right now, and that is this inverse head and shoulders pattern. So we got one shoulder here, sort of the head pattern here, and then we can see the other shoulder coming into play here. Now literally as we speak, we've come up to this level here where we're sort of around the kind of the key area of the previous shoulder, and if it's going to confirm and be able to break through this level, then I can see us moving back up higher. Now what I want to draw your attention to is we've used the Fibonacci tool and we come all the way from the all-time high and we drop it back down to the recent drop. We're going to see a couple of key levels here. If we see back yesterday, we came up to the 0.382 level perfectly, literally touched it to the dollar, before retracing back down to the 236, where we then saw a bounce again, and we've seen this kind of movement around here. And I've put this orange line on here, well, it's not quite in the right place, at around the 0.5 level. Okay, so if we can break through here, through this sort of level, then we'll probably confirm this breakout. And if we can break through this 0.5 level here, then I think that's a really key area for us to be testing. Now where will that take us if we break through? Now when we take an inverse head and shoulders pattern like this, we usually take from the bottom of the pattern, which is around this area here, to the bottom of the head, and then we take it back up towards the sort of shoulder level here, and then you can see that would bring us all the way back up to the $4,152 level. Now obviously, you know, there's various patterns which we've seen, and this pattern here is key to see because we kind of started the pattern here and we still haven't completed this pattern yet, and we will be looking to get back up towards the $3,000 level. Now as I mentioned in the past, $3,000 is likely going to pose a bit of resistance for us. Despite not producing much in the way of resistance before, we did see us come back down to retest the $3,000 level and slightly above the $3,000 level, around the 3,168. You can see that we've got a fairly substantial piece of support here, which will obviously act as resistance if it's support again here. And you know, this area between the sort of 2,900 and the $3,100 level is quite a key level in my opinion, and it's going to potentially give us quite some resistance to be looking at. Now if I zoom into the 15 minutes, we can see another sort of what could be potentially another head and shoulders pattern happening here. Okay, so we've got one shoulder here, head, and another shoulder on the other side potentially. So you know, we would like to see this high here of around the $2,900 level being broken with good levels of volume coming through for us to be sort of breaking through in the shorter term. So you know, it may take a bit of time. We may see a bit of sideways action. As I've mentioned, this is a big area of support and resistance, and it might take a bit of sideways action before we can kind of confirm and push back on towards the upside. Now again, heading over to the Ethereum Bitcoin chart on the 4-hour, and again using the Fibonacci tool, we can see that we've got a fairly interesting pattern occurring here where we came up to the 0.618, okay, which is a golden ratio, and we've seen a bit of a bounce off of there. But again, you know, we're seeing a bit of consolidation underneath, and we haven't been, although we were rejected hard, we then saw more buying pressure, and this previous line of resistance at around the 7% level has now been sort of flipped into support. So that'll be interesting to see where that plays out. Again, if we can see this breaking the 618, it's pretty much in line exactly with the 0.5 over on the US dollar chart. Okay, so we can see them potentially moving together. Okay, so it's interesting. We need to pay attention to what's happening in Bitcoin as well. Bitcoin obviously is doing well, and Ethereum does tend to react quite similarly to Bitcoin. And obviously Ethereum took a bigger dip, is therefore recovering a bit quicker than Bitcoin. And as Bitcoin, if Bitcoin can kind of stay steady and move sideways for a bit, it does tend to be kind of pretty solid and good news for Ethereum. Now you can see from all the market news that a couple of weeks ago or a week ago we were seeing all these like negative stories being printed, and then suddenly we start getting these mystery stories coming out of Goldman Sachs and all these kind of like positive news flooding into the market, just showing you quite how severely I think the markets are being manipulated at the moment. So always be careful with your trading, make sure you're not over leveraging yourself. In terms of sort of buying, we could potentially see, if it does get rejected, a bit of a dip down to perhaps retest around the 0.5 on the Ethereum Bitcoin chart. But I think if we see Ethereum get rejected from this area up here, then I can see it basically coming down and probably playing in between the 0.382 and the 0.5 for a bit more time. Okay, so in terms of a buying opportunity, potential buying opportunity in this sort of zone at the moment. But obviously, as you know, in the last couple of days, we've seen this big push back up to the upside, and we could always potentially see a roll back down, and this might be just sort of some sort of a dead cat bounce, but at the moment it's looking very positive. We can see the market news heading in a bit more of a positive direction, and people are going to start to gain confidence again after many people were shaken out. But all the people who are in the market at the moment perhaps have now sort of experienced the big dips that are associated with cryptocurrency and that make it such an exciting place to be, and probably for the next time it happens are probably far more aware and far more ready for such things to happen. Okay, so in my opinion, obviously go away and do your own research. There's plenty of information out there available. Still, potentially a reasonable opportunity to buy below $3,000, because I see in the next day or next couple of days heading back above the $3,000 level. And once we're back above the $3,000 level, then as long as we can hold this level, then we have potential to push back to the upside. But obviously, a huge amount of money was lost out the market, so there will be a bit of time. We're not necessarily going to head straight back to these levels within the next couple of days, because obviously a lot of people are have taken big hits, and a lot of people are still needing to regain their confidence in the markets. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed today's video. As I mentioned before, if you're new to the channel and you haven't already subscribed and you hold Ethereum and you're interested in Ethereum, then make sure you hit that subscribe button to be kept up to date with all of the latest Ethereum news, as well as Ethereum chart analysis. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.